It's the kid, 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 it's the child, it's the child. Now, let's just say, um, I am supposed to be expecting. I'm supposed to be expecting Ford. So Ford should be on his way. So don't worry, relax. Everything is all under control. But if I have to go slightly to answer the door, that's because Ford should be coming. So Ford has bricked up because he should have been here a lot earlier. But it's all cool. It's all cool. Don't worry. It's all cool, man. Everything is all pumping through. Okay, what the heck is this? Okay, I have no idea what the heck that is. Okay, that's cancel. So we've got a great show for you. Let me bring out my beautiful notes here for the show to just to remind you of what we have coming up, man. So remember, guys, 1 week till the sale. 1 week till the. I hope you're enjoying the whole day-to-day smack. Hope you guys have been enjoying this whole day-to-day smack of what has been happening, of how things have been going and how we've been doing things, coupling from profile to profile to profile. So obviously, if you remember, shout out to your boy Aaron, Josh, Daniel, all the guys who are members. You can view the Chelsea vid now. I put all my passion at Chelsea vid. If you remember, you head to the community page on the YouTube profile homepage, and you can view that right now. The Chelsea profile is out right now. The Chelsea profile will now be open for everybody tomorrow on the platform. Remember, if you remember, you get early access to vids, exclusive vids as well as exclusive football battles as well. So trust me. So that stuff is all great, man. So look, so for the show today, what do we have? What do we have for the show today? Neymar returning back to Barcelona. Now, people say that has already happened before, but it was something said by the former VP, Jody Mestri, because he just went into a little bit of an elaboration as to the circumstances that could lead to homeboy returning back and how that could work. And that how that works. So then we'll then know more about that. Pep to Juve. It's a rumor. Don't believe it. But we're going to discuss it. We're going to discuss it. Try and see in what scenario, what kind of element could a Pep return to Juventus potentially maybe work, and we can have like a back and forth on that. Chukwueze to Liverpool. Something that we've heard. Apparently, I was reading that Liverpool made a bid for Chukwueze in January, and they may now have to up the bid to I think about 60 or 65 euros. Could a Chukwueze to Liverpool work? We'll see about that. And okay, guys, I'll be back. 1 second, I'll be back. 1 second. We're still live. The heck is happening? All right. So basically, we're now going to be rolling now with Neymar's potential return to Barcelona. And discuss to see how that could or maybe perhaps work. That's going to be key because I've always said, look, man, Barcelona cannot breathe and they cannot eat without Neymar. That is the key thing. But bear with me, guys. I want to just make sure that we're actually still live here. Bear with me 1 second, man. All right, I think we're back. We're back. Your boy's back. So Neymar back to Barcelona. I always say, look, Barca are struggling, and I think that Barca surviving merely rolling with Messi is stupid. It's stupid. They cannot survive merely focusing on Messi. And I do believe that there could be a way that it could go. Yeah. So your boy Ford's in here. So say if you just roll in there, if you just put in, if you clip that mic on, and then you can roll it through. All right. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I think there's like a thing that just no, you clip it on like this.
Oh, clip it on. Okay.
Yeah, clip on. Yeah. All right. Okay. Wait, why is this live chat not working, man? Okay. So basically, that's what we're trying to roll with here. Is that Barcelona right now they need help. That's just the fact that Barcelona right now need help, and they cannot fully operate focusing on Messi with a sideshow like a Griezmann. Neymar coming back to Barcelona is very much a possibility. Actually, let me help with that. Wait, let me help with that.
I think I got it actually.
Oh, no. Look at this. Just do that. There you go.
Can you see me or?
Yeah, no, yes, it's cool. Actually, let me. All right. So your boy Ford is here, man. Ford, why the hell were you here late, man?
The underground's a mess, but we're here now.
Oh, wait, sorry. Oh, okay. Wait.
Yeah, we good?
Mic check 1, 2.
Yeah, so why the hell were we here late?
The underground's a mess. You know the Piccadilly line's like, but we're here. 2020. It's good to actually see you now this year, and let's get moving, man.
So how's life been? People have not seen you around.
It's been good, man. It's been good. We're making moves in this year, and obviously new decade in that.
No. Like everyone is like, hey, Ford. It's like Ford taking the Brick Express. Ford, I haven't seen him in years.
Brick Express, I like it. But nah, it's been good, man. Football's been interesting this year. The sports have been interesting this year as well. A lot of big sporting events coming up soon. So
look, man, I know this is a football show, but we've got to talk a bit about that whole boxing thing because I was just watching a bit of watching Tyson Fury like doing some boxing trainings.
yeah.
Man, that's good. Basically, like because obviously one of our main topics is 1 week till the CL. Bro, do you know how crazy next week? What's it called? Tuesday is Dortmund. No, Atletico, Liverpool. Wednesday is Dortmund PSG, and then Saturday is the fight.
Mad. It's crazy.
Bro, man,
What a time to be a sports fan.
Yeah.
It's looking good.
So look, so let's just get right down to it. So first of all, let's go to the our first topic, which I'll sort of just bring upon, and then we can then get right down to the brass tacks. So. This is from Bleacher Report. So I'm going to take some Bleacher Report. Say Neymar, the right signing to help Barcelona win, says former VP Jordi Mestre. So Barcelona should resign Neymar from PSG if they want to improve results, according to former Vice President Jordi Mestre. Okay, so let me that's just blah blah. I want to just see what Jordi Mestre say. Blah blah blah. Mestre, who resigned from his role in July, is aware that there will be some who do not want to see Neymar back at the Camp Nou due to the circumstances of his initial departure. But he believes the return of the 28-year-old would improve results on the pitch. From the emotional point of view of how he left, I would not sign him. From a sporting point of view, I would sign him. In my opinion, he provides a skill set that very few players have. It's the one-on-one talent, and he scores a lot of goals. So look, man, that's just pretty much the brass tacks. So before let me just throw it to you first, Ford, and then we can then maybe go into detail upon the whole thing. In your view, if you're Barcelona, do you really fight for trying to get Neymar back? As in, like, let's say it's in the summer. Do you aggressively try to get Neymar back, or you be like, nah, the way he left was crap. Let's move on. We don't need him. What would you do if, let's say you were Bartomeu? What would you do in that position?
I think Barcelona, in my opinion, Barcelona have a lot of priorities. There's a lot of things that need to really reorder their ship because right now they're kind of on the decline in a sense. They're kind of going in the wrong direction, and there's a lot of things they need to do to go in the right direction. One of those things is getting Messi's contract re-signed. Another thing is their recruitment in general in terms of getting younger players into the squad to help an aging squad. But I think above all of those priorities, their main priority should be signing Neymar. We already knew that he was linked to go to them last season. Obviously, he had his previous form there before, and it's very clear that they need something to inject them in the final third. Now, Griezmann, who we've gone back and forth about, hasn't really cut it at Barcelona, not to my surprise at all, despite being a world-class player, which I will still attest to. But they need something else in that final third, and we already know that Barcelona have a lot of links to Brazil, so it makes sense from a financial point of view, from a marketing point of view, to sign a Brazilian superstar. They were looking at obviously Richarlison in January, which would have been a bit of an iffy signing, but I think Neymar certainly is the go-to signing. So for me, it's a no-brainer. They need to get Neymar. They should have got him last summer, but if they can get him this summer, then it cuts the losses a little bit.
So, when you even look back at how he left and everything, I think people are sort of split. It's funny. One of my colleagues at work, Nigerian guy, he's like a massive Barca fan, which I having like a back and forth because I said, no, Barcelona, they need Neymar, they need him back. It is what it is, and my view was that he left. I don't know whether it was you who made the point or someone else. I don't know who made the point of miracle at Camp Nou. Neymar did this amazing thing in 10 minutes, but then everybody put the focus on Messi.
And even the picture in the newspaper was Messi standing like this in front of the crowd. Yep.
Yeah, so yeah, everyone put the whole thing on Messi. So I think from Neymar thought to happen, you know what? I need my team. I need to start. I can't be because Messi doesn't make sense because normally you have like a 3-4 year peak. So normally, by that time Messi will sort of have been declining, and then it will be time for Neymar to now take over. But Messi was like, no, like people can argue that Messi's best ever seasons were his last 2 seasons. So because again, from this out, people say, okay, they wouldn't want Neymar back based on the way that he left. But try to be objective. I know you're a Neymar fanboy, but objectively speaking, do Barca fans have a point with the way in which he forced a move and wanted to leave and didn't appreciate the kind of surrounding he was in? Barcelona, you're the next Brazilian to play in Barcelona, following the footsteps of Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Romario, and you're playing next to a Messi.
I mean, it's difficult because I can see both sides of the argument. I can see why Barcelona fans ask the question, why don't you want to stay and take over Messi once he leaves? Now, that's a long time to wait when you're Brazilian's number 1 player. You're one of the top 3 most marketable players in all of world football. So why do you want to be second to someone like a Messi? Like, you've got players like Harry Kane, you've got players like Mohamed Salah, a lot of guys who are number 1s at their clubs, but you can argue Messi, Salah now as Mane coming up, but you've got a lot of players who are number 1s at their clubs, and Neymar really wanted to be a number 1, and you're never going to be number 1 while Messi is there, especially at his peak. But on the other side of the equation, Barcelona fans will look at it and say he should have stayed and he should have been one of us and made sure that he was a Catalan, because now there was a chance for him to now go to Real Madrid, which maybe answers all of those rumours, and it could have easily been a situation where it's another phenomenal situation where he's played for both of those clubs. So it's a difficult situation, but at the same time, I think there will be no love. I think, there'll certainly be parity in the situation if he was to return to Barcelona. There will be no ill feeling towards that. And again, for me, I feel like it makes sense for him to go back, and there's really no real reason for them not to bring him back. I think more of the situation for me is why they let him go in the first place, and why they didn't make him feel like, you know what, you are the man to be the replacement for Messi, and you can be really the guy who carries this team forward.
Okay, so let me throw another curveball for you.
And I'm not a Neymar fan.
Yeah, you are. Let me throw another curveball for you. Now, this is not going to happen, but just for the sake of this argument, let me just put this in there. But let me be clear here, guys. What I'm about to say will not happen. Curveball. PSG win the Champions League this season. They win it. And Neymar is critical to him winning it. If you're Neymar, are you like, I did what I wanted to do at PSG, let me go back to Barcelona? Or are you, wait a minute. Maybe I could start a legacy here. Maybe this is the beginning of something big. So what do you now do then? If, let's say, so this is a scenario, they win the Champions League. Boom, Neymar, he's the main man. Boom, he's back on top. Now he's now in contention. He's now one of the favorites to win the Ballon d'Or. Then Barcelona say, Neymar, we want you. We really want you, and we're going to now fully build the team around you, and you and Messi are going to work side by side. Would it be a step back by Neymar? You just won the Champions League with PSG. Let me go back to Barcelona and be the next Barcelona guy. Or would it be right to be like, no. Let me create something new here for PSG. What do you think would be the smart move to make if you were advising him?
I think it's a very interesting scenario, and I think
100% him moving to Barcelona after winning the Champions League would be a massive step forward. In fact, because if there's any knock on Neymar's legacy, it's that he hasn't really won the big one as the main guy in the team. I think he had a fantastic Brazilian World Cup in Brazil in 2014, but then obviously got injured. And then Brazil went on to win a Copa America with him injured as well. Yes, he's got good Champions League runs, won the league for Barcelona and PSG, but he was never really the main guy. When he won the league with PSG, it's a farmers league, you call it the Uber Eats league, of course.
Uber Eats.
Which I don't really subscribe to, but then when you see the goal that Leon scored against themselves, it's hard to argue against it. Shocking. But I think for sure, if he was to then win the Champions League, then you've cemented your legacy as, you know what, I am that guy, and I've got that thing that nobody can take away from me, because everything else you can kind of maybe kind of like pick nose at it a little bit. But if he wins the Champions League with PSG, which again I predicted him to do from the start, then there's no way anybody can take that away from you. And then you can go back to Barcelona as you in your own entity, as a mainstay, as your own, in a sense, one of the big names in football, undoubtedly, because you can't take it away from him at that point. Cristiano is one of those guys. Messi is one of those guys, and Neymar would then put himself in a conversation as one of those guys, undisputably. Now, if he was to obviously not win the Champions League this season, then it makes it difficult.
Which is obviously not that. Like, let's keep real. He's not winning the Champions League.
We've gone over this debate and we'll probably continue it later on. But the point is, if he goes back without winning the Champions League, then it's like, oh, you left. And this is where Barcelona fans will be looking at him like, oh, so you left to do what exactly? To win a couple of league titles and actually not do anything? And then it would almost be a scenario where he's coming back with his tail tucked in between his legs, saying that, you know what, now I've got to come back to Barcelona and be under Messi to win these big trophies again. So we'll see. It's a very interesting scenario, and I think it would be good for football if he was to go back to Barcelona.
Why would it be good for football if he went back to Barcelona as opposed to stay at PSG, and therefore there's another threat in the football market rather than the footballing powers becoming smaller and smaller and smaller? Isn't it better where that, oh no, there's now another big superpower out there with another super player? Isn't it better to spread out the superstars rather than have all the superstars in the same team?
In my opinion, on the wane, looking like he's going to be declining pretty soon and on the way out, it makes sense for, again, Brazil's superstar to go back to Barcelona in that sense. Also, you're the one who says the Ligue 1 is a Uber Eats leagues, Farmers League and all of that. For me, I don't want to see one of the best players in world football. For me, right at this point, you can make the argument that he's the best player in world football right now, playing in Ligue 1. That's not what I want to see. I want to be seeing him playing in one of the best leagues in world football. So to go back to the La Liga, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, and just on that about Neymar being one of the best in world football, I don't want to. That's right. I want to quit Twitter, but I only use Twitter because for public, discourse. But right now, this is why I'm using Twitter a lot less, because it can kill your brain cells. Currently on Twitter, there is now a debate, which I'm not being a part of. There's now a debate as to who is better, Neymar or Salah. People are really beginning. See, this is why it's like there's some people out there that I just think they're just stupid. Look, they're either stupid, dumb, or they're just fanboys of a guy. So when you just have a fanboy of a guy, you have Twitter vision. You will. That's why you open your rotten mouth and say, let's have a debate. Neymar or Salah? What the heck?
That's the problem right there. At least for me,
I don't really see these people when they type these egregious topics and statements. I don't see them actually saying it with their own mouth, because it just sounds so stupid. It would just sound so stupid to say these certain statements. And even as I've said it, I said you could argue Neymar could be the best player in the world right now. I'm not saying it with my chest saying, 100% he is. And again, it's a debatable topic, but they didn't say now Salah's better than him because of what? I mean, because he's in a better team right now? Sure, maybe you can argue that case, but it doesn't mean he's 100% better than him or better than Mbappe. Like, no, it's not the case.
Okay, so now let's now move to another one. So now this other one, it's much more of a rumor. Now, The Sun is a trash newspaper, and I think if anybody who lives in England will know that The Sun just tabloids and trash. But rather than talk about the veracity of this topic, I think I want to use this as a jumping off point to a much more bigger discussion. So the rumor is, it's not going to happen, that Juventus are planning an audacious attempt to try and get Pep Guardiola this summer. Stupid. Like, that's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But it's a very interesting jumping off point for two discussions. The first one is Sarri. What's going to happen with Sarri? Are Juve really thinking about sacking Sarri and so forth? So that's one talking point. Another talking point is, again, I throw in a scenario. What if Man City don't win the Champions League this year? Do you see Pep staying at Man City? How long do you see Pep staying at Man City? And if Pep was to leave Man City, where would he go? Because for me, I've always said, like, look, man, if Homeboy loses in the last 16, bro, like, no one cares about the FA Cup. No one cares about the Carabao Cup. No one cares about that trash. So let me throw the first question to you right now. So the first one is this. I'm already hearing rumors right now, which I think is insane, because Juve are still in the Italian Cup, Juve are still in the Champions League, and Juve are equal on points with Inter Milan at the top. Guys have already said, sorry, get out. I'm sure guys in the live chat, what's called RB comps, and all of you Juve fans are like, Sarri is crap and Sarri is useless. So in your view, should Sarri be given more time, Or is it a case of where, man, this is just a bad fit. This will never happen. This is very much Allegri's team, and he just can't get the best out of this team. So if you were Agnelli or Nedved, do you pull the plug this summer? Or do you say, nah, let's support him, let's ride this out, let's really give him the support that he needs in the summer and let him build his team in his own image, because you saw what he did in Chelsea in his first season. At least he got a trophy. How would you roll?
I think objectively speaking, it's too early to be. I think it's not too early to be asking the question, but I think to actually be looking at, okay, well, who we should be getting rid of him. I think it's a bit wrong. I think you should be giving a manager, if you've put your faith in picking him as the man to replace Allegri, who built a dynasty at Juventus, then you should give him time to really see through to what he can actually build at Juventus, because it wasn't an easy job. Yes, he's in a league where it dominantly favours Juventus, but it's not easy taking over Allegri's team, which is a completely different style of play to what Sarri would like to implement. So it's always going to have his teething issues, but at the same time, I can understand why Juventus fans are questioning whether he is the right man for the job long term. So I think the questions are right to be asked, but in terms of pulling the plug, it's definitely too premature. Now, what I would say is if Pep becomes available in the summer, which again, as we said, is very unlikely, then if you're Juventus, maybe you would look at that. I think you would look at maybe picking up one of the best managers in the world. I think that would be a healthy upgrade for the team. But other than that, no, you got to stick with Sarri. And obviously, we'll get onto Pep later on. But I mean, as for Sarri, I just think a major issue as to why it's not worked is because he's not really got the players who fit his system into that team. I think if you put a Jorginho...
So do you then say give him time then?
100% he needs time, because if you look at even the midfield, while they've got good midfielders there, they don't really suit what he likes to do. They've got players like Ramsey, Khedira, Bentancur.
Well, Ramsey's about to be gone.
Exactly.
So,
all good players who could fit in other good teams, but not in Sarri's system in that Juventus team. I feel like if, let's say, they had a Jorginho, who many Chelsea fans are questioning whether he's right for the Premier League, I think he would slot in and do an amazing job at Juventus. So I think it's all about players and personnel types in Sarri's system that would get the best out of Juventus.
So you would be patient and still keep him?
Yeah. I mean, if Pep came available at the summer, then you could entertain that, but I think that's very unlikely.
Okay. So let's not look at now Pep now. So, like, again, we're going to go real in on the Champions League, man, fully in, because look, it's big. That match is massive. That match is flipping huge. Not bigger than Bayern Chelsea. So easy, right? Chill. But that match is massive, and I think that the pressure is on Man City. The pressure isn't on Real Madrid. The pressure more so is on Man City. And my thing about it is that with Pep, so forth, is it's going to be interesting to see what happens if they were to get knocked out of the Champions League. Because if they were to get knocked out of the Champions League, what would his reaction be? Will he really be like, let's go again, let's ride again? Because again, somebody sent me a very interesting video on Twitter where they were just asking Pep, like, the reporter says, Pep, you're like the best manager in the world, you're the best coach in the world. And he said, no, I'm not the best coach in the world. Like, no, I just had really good players. And he said, like, there are other amazing managers out there who just don't have the players that I had. And he said that and I don't know whether he's doing this like sarcastically or he's trying to be like double time. But it was like, if you gave me any other team apart from Man City, I wouldn't win. So I don't know where he's going there with that, but in your view, how far do you think the Pep Man City marriage is going to go? Is he really, because again, for me, I felt if he didn't fall out with the Barcelona presidency, I think he would have wanted to do what Fergie did with United. He would have wanted to be at Barcelona fully, but they fell out. But then I look at Bayern Munich and say to myself, why did he leave Bayern? You won the league every year. You won the DFB Pokal Cup almost every year, so you were successful every year. So why did you leave Bayern? Why didn't you stay at Bayern for long? Because that was his decision to leave. Bayern didn't sack him. Bayern were like, oh no, look, we're doing great, playing great football. We're just very unlucky, and we kept on coming close. So, in your view, do you see him, if they're unsuccessful in the Champions League, staying at Man City for longer? Or if they're unsuccessful in the Champions League, do you say, he probably goes and leaves? Where's your inkling there?
Now, I actually don't know the answer to the question. However, there's many different ways to look at it, and there's very, very many interesting ways to look at it as well. Now, in terms of why he left Barcelona, obviously, you can argue maybe he got burnt out at the end of it. People could also argue the case that Mourinho pushed him out of it, out of La Liga. And then when he went to Bayern Munich, again, also, you made the point of how he maybe was seeing things differently to the Barcelona board. You could also make the case that was the same at Bayern Munich, where he was having public spouts against Beckenbauer and other Bayern Munich legends and also members of their board as well. Now, the reason why that shouldn't be the case at Man City is because they brought him in. In fact, no, they built the whole infrastructure for pretty much the 2010s and even look into the 2020s as well around the Pep Guardiola as their manager. They came in and brought their director of football in, I believe, 2014, I want to say. And their ultimate goal was to bring in Pep Guardiola. They first had to get Pellegrini in, but then once they got Pep Guardiola, that was like, yes, Pep Guardiola, that's going to be our guy to lead us into the future and make us a league winning team, a Champions League winning team, make us turn essentially Manchester into a Manchester City rather than Manchester United. So I don't see him having any public spouts with them, which suggests to me that he should stay.
But are you saying that their main aim is for dominance in the Premier League or dominance in Europe?
Their main aim was to be dominant in both. Was main aim, and I would obviously they've essentially accomplished that in the Premier League by winning it back to back. It's not going to win it this season, but as long as they can win it next season, then they've kind of essentially achieved that dominance in the league. But all they really wanted to do was to be a European powerhouse, which of course needs you to win the league title, obviously domestic cups, but mainly to win the Champions League. Now, Pep has failed to do that on many. In fact, he's even failed to get to a semi-final while being at Man City, and obviously has a very tough draw against Real Madrid, which will be very interesting next week. But for me, I don't see any reason why he should leave, which is why at first I'm thinking,
Pellegrini got to a Champions semi-final.
Exactly, which is why for Pep he really should stay, and that's why I'm thinking, you know what, you have the board who really should be on your side. Again, everything's built around you at Man City, everything's built for him to do well at Man City. So for reason he really shouldn't stay.
For the cash.
But then when you see his comments, it all really looks like he's trying to relieve pressure on himself, that he feels like maybe people are trying to like get onto me, and maybe he doesn't want to deal with that pressure. And the way I look at it is, if this is a boxing fight, this is probably going into the championship rounds. Liverpool are now coming up. They're making it tough for you. You probably have a bloody nose, but you're winning the battle. You've won most of the rounds beforehand. So why should you want to leave now? It's getting a little bit tough. There's no reason for him to leave. But then if past is a prologue for what could happen in the future, then maybe there's a reason why he's going to leave. Maybe he doesn't like it when they get stuff. Maybe he only wants to manage where he knows he's going to win the league pretty much at a counter every single season. And that's why he's linked with going to the likes of Juventus, to a PSG where he can go win the league comfortably again. So if he was to leave, I think 100% it is a snaky move. He shouldn't leave. Everything is in his favour to go and do well at Man City, so he shouldn't leave at all.
You know, to your whole thing of like, why does he want to go? Why would he want to leave when they're going against stuff? I think Pep is a victim of his own success. Like, not many managers can say that's like my first 3-4 seasons I won a trophy. My first three seasons, as he said, like six titles with Barcelona, and there's only been one season when he's not won a major trophy. Only one, you know, in the 3 years he was with all the years with Barcelona and the years with the Man City. So he doesn't understand how to even react to, oh my gosh, I'm 20 points behind the league leaders right now. I've not won a trophy. So he doesn't really know how to react to that, really, you know. And I think when you're so used to operating at here, it's very hard to be happy with here. So let's say, for example, which is probably going to be most likely, he ends up like winning the FA Cup and winning the Carabao Cup, but he doesn't win the Champions League and he doesn't win the league title. Just for Pep, he'll be like, nah, that thing's not good enough. For most guys, oh, that's great, you still won trophies, but it's like, bro, like, no, like the biggest trophies are the league title and the Champions League, and that is what I've always been used to winning. And that is where I came from winning. So, do you think that in a sense that he's a victim of his own success, and because he had so much success early, and he was such a young prodigy kind of manager to even a greater extent than Mourinho in terms of how many trophies that he won, that it's almost impossible for him to deal with failure?
It shouldn't be. It just
Ultimately shouldn't be. He's got everything working in his favour at Man City right now, where he should be able to turn it around. If he was to win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, he would still be winning silverware. It would still be underachieving in the grand scheme of things, because you're aiming to win the Champions League, failing that, okay, maybe you can retain the Premier League for a third time, which only one other club has done in Premier League history, being Man United. So it would be success to a degree, but not what they would want to do if they were to just go and win the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. But again, you've got the funds there to go and reinvest. You've also still got one of the best teams in Europe, one of the best squads in Europe to go and fight again for these titles. So there's no reason why he shouldn't stay there another season at the very least and try and battle with Klopp. Because if he was to leave now, what would his legacy really be? Other than, okay, you're bringing an attractive style of football to the Premier League, it would be once the going got tough once again, he left when he had everything working in his favour, with funds at the club, with players already there that he already inherited, and the players that he's brought in that fit his style and that were able to do it. Because then what's he going to do when he leaves? Go to Juventus, go to a PSG where he's going to dominate another league. But then if he's not winning a Champions League since 2011, let's remember, not been to a quarterfinal since the Bayern days, it then causes the question of, okay, now you can then say, you know what, Mourinho, while he's maybe not had as many highs as Pep, he's certainly been able to level out, and you know what, he's been able to deal with mediocrity and still bring them to a higher level. Where Pep's always dealt with the best and got great results, but he's never actually dealt with something underneath that, if you know what I mean.
Well, no. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because the measure of someone, I think what's it called, is like a quote from that whole Rocky film, is not about how hard you hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep going forward. People love Floyd Mayweather. Like, you have to respect Mayweather's record, but we are more in love with an Ali based on, I got beat, but then I was avenged my defeats. Like, people like the whole thing of like, you were low and you then got up. If you're just perfect and amazing the whole time, okay, yeah, you were great, but because as regular people, we deal with the defeats every day, we deal with losses every day. So we get more inspired by seeing someone lose and win rather than seeing someone win every single time, because that is unrealistic for us.
Dealing with adversity, it really shows your
Actual character, because everything's very easy when you're winning and you're doing great. Like, what's there really to be worried about? But then when it gets tough, it's about how you deal with that adversity and how you overcome it and what adjustments you make to overcome it. And that's why I compare it to being like in the 10th round in a championship rounds in a boxing fight, and your nose is a bit bloody, you're getting a little bit tired, and your opponent's starting to land some shots on you, but you've had a really good start. Now, can you see out to the end? Liverpool are doing well right now, so why not try and, or at least for me, I think for the observer, you want to see Man City try now beat that challenge again, because as much as getting 198 points in those first two seasons was good,
no one is doing what these jokers have done this season.
Yes,
bro, these guys could do 37 and more.
I mean,
these guys could do 37.
It's impressive, and again, somebody did say that they would go unbeaten this season. Somebody being me, but the point I want to make is, as impressive as
Chelsea can also beat these guys, do you know how sweet that?
Bro, you know, with the way it's looking right now, obviously that's their penultimate home game. That's their final home game, is against us. So imagine them winning that game and then lifting the title in front of us. Or conversely, we could be the team that beats them, ends that unbeaten run.
That'd
be amazing.
I would go crazy on Twitter if that happened. All right, so last topic here before we go to obviously our Champions League kind of the discussion here.
Good segue into.
So Samuel Chukwueze. So apparently what I was reading was Liverpool made a bid for him. So Liverpool made a bid for him apparently in January, but that was rejected. And Villarreal apparently have said that they need to look for a bid for about 65 million euros to pretty much lure him in. And obviously it's good that I've got forward here my fellow Nigerian aficionado here, because I'm happy for Igalo as a Nigerian. I would say, what, Igalo, I had to go hard on it because for the Super Eagles, I expect something very high. So I had to go hard on you there when you were at the Super Eagles. But now you're not left. I've always going to support a Nigerian. I've always going to try and push Nigeria to do well. So I hope you do well. But me, objectively speaking, Igalo, he's not great. He's not part of the future of Nigerian football now that he's retired. And he never was that great a striker, a medium striker. I'm very excited about that. Like, the two players that are really exciting right now is obviously Victor Osimhen, who I think can be a superb striker. And I think Chukwueze has the raw ingredients to be a superb inside forward. But my thing is that, you look at Chukwueze's game now, because I think, look, man, Nigeria are in a sweet spot right now. After being in the doldrums, suffering, being in the flipping darkness, okay, dealing with that, I don't even want to mention that piece of crap name. Now, you know who he is. How do you miss an open goal at a World Cup?
Let's not revisit it, man. Bad
How?
Bad vibes.
I mean, what the heck? So, look, I just having flashbacks. So, do you feel that, let's say you're advising Chukwueze right now, because this is big, because obviously, if you want guys to really do well for the national team and so forth, as we both do, you want them to be in the right club, with the right coach, and the right manager so they can develop well, because when you're dealing with young players, the key thing is coach development. So do you think that Chukwueze at Liverpool is a good move? And let me even add this in. Remember, he's an inside forward. And if Liverpool don't sell it on any of the players, he's going to have to be an understudy and play second fiddle to Salah and Mane, who are first teamers. And I always feel that you only get better by playing and playing and playing. That's why guys loan guys out. You don't improve on the training pitch.
We are the kings of that.
Well, yeah. So basically, you don't improve on the training pitch. You improve by playing those games, full tilt. So, but then the flip side is Klopp is arguably the best coach in the world, and we've seen how Klopp has done with players and how he's helped to improve players. So that's the whole thing you're weighing up. So if you're Chukwueze, do you go to Liverpool? Do you remain at Villarreal, or do you wait for maybe that Barcelona move or for another move? What do you do if you're Chukwueze?
It's important to actually look at it from a Liverpool perspective and to ask the question of why they would want to go and get a Chukwueze. And I mean, it makes sense because, again, Salah, 27 years of age, Mane, 27, Firmino, 28. They're all pretty much entering their prime years, if not already in their prime years. So, again, you can be looking at who's the next generation to come underneath that, and also players to kind of support them when maybe they're injured or maybe a little bit fatigued. So they've already got Minamino in to play as the left wing backup for Mane, which again is a good signing. You already look at who's their backup for Salah, which is Shaqiri. He's had his moments at Liverpool. Obviously had a great cameo in the comeback against Barcelona, which again to me is just crazy that happened. I told you about Valverde, by the way. You got sacked since I've obviously talked to you.
It's fault, man. That's in his trash, man.
But anyways, staying on topic, again, Shaqiri may move on in the summer, which is why it would be interesting, or I think it would be wise for them to go and invest in somebody.
Listen, this dude, Erhan, Chukwueze is not touching Leicester City, bro. No, come on. Well, we're looking at Real Madrid, Barcelona. We're looking at high tier, man. Leicester, the heck.
I actually look at it differently, but I'm going to get to that point. So for me, Liverpool, they should be looking at just trying to get somebody to be a backup for Salah. Now, from the Chukwueze's point of view, and obviously to your person's message there, going to the Premier League for me is a complete no-no at this point. And again, the key word that you mentioned, and even the way I've always looked at Chukwueze, when I watch him, the first word that comes to my mind is raw. A great ability, great technical ability, great potential, but it's just raw. Like when you watch highlights of him, he looks amazing, he does. But then you watch 4 games of him for Villarreal, and even for Nigeria, there's a lot of moments of really good and then also moments of, okay, that's really bad decision making. And for me, again, that's just natural for somebody who's only 20 years of age. So he needs really time to develop and yes, be under the right coach, but ultimately be under the right environment. And for me, the Premier League isn't the right environment for that, because just picture this. He goes to Liverpool for 65 million euros, which is about 65 million, about 50 million pounds. There's going to be a lot of scrutiny and pressure on him whenever he does play a game at Anfield for Liverpool, the champions of Europe, the champions of the Premier League.
I mean, look at Minamino. I think the pressure they've put into him as well, Naby Keita as well.
Yes, exactly. So for someone that young, I don't think that's the right environment for him to be first and foremost. Secondly, to be in the Premier League, such a physical league like that, it's not a great look. Thirdly, how many minutes is he really going to get? Not that many. And fourth, I feel like there's so many better options, many better alternatives. One of them being staying at Villarreal where he's comfortable. Again, there's no reason for him not to develop there a little bit more. And for me, I feel like, also out of personal bias, because I want to be watching a lot more of the Bundesliga from next season, I thought going to the Bundesliga would be a great addition for the Bundesliga on that side of things. Also for him, I think that's a league where there's a lot of counter-attack in play, a lot of space for him in behind for him to run into, and I think it would just suit his style of play a lot more better. I mean, imagine him at Liverpool playing against low blocks all the time. He's going to get snuffed out of a lot of games and not really get to really show his full talent. So for me, it's nice to see him linked with big clubs like Liverpool, of course, but I think it's not the right time for him to move. Not at all. I think while he's still in this hotspot of between 20 and 22, he should really hone his game and really develop to be the best person that he can be as a footballer before taking that next step into one of the elite clubs.
Okay. So obviously, before we just move on to that, before I round it up. So Natsa, thank you very much for your super chats and thank you for becoming a member. Natsa, obviously you're a new member. Welcome to the membership of the whole football hot thing, and hope you enjoy that beautiful content right in there, man. But I think no.
Do you agree?
Yes.
Wise man.
So you say stay at Villarreal?
I say you can stay at Villarreal or go to the Bundesliga. I mean, it doesn't have to be just the Bundesliga, but I personally,
but your point definitely about that whole thing of like the pressure is huge, because Liverpool is one thing because like it's a known club right now. Like Liverpool is a bigger market than Villarreal. Anfield is a much more story thing than a thing. And if he moves, based on how people have viewed him, people are like, oh, geez, Chukwueze, this is the guy that has done all this kind of stuff. And that kind of pressure, I'm not sure whether it's the right time to really throw him into that whole thing yet.
Also the price tag as well.
The price tag. Bundesliga, man. I use this example, Jadon Sancho. If Sancho had just stayed in the Premier League, Bundesliga is the best place for testy babies to rise, man. It's the best place. And I think that when you look at the Bundesliga, it is the only league I believe that they really have a concerted effort of pushing forth young players. They just say like young players straight in, and they don't really care. So I just think that, and it's not only how they push for the young players, the way that they play. And I think even Devo was even saying this stats. Every single Bundesliga team, they no matter who they play, they will always play their strategy, attacking on the front foot, throw guys forward, nice space, move forward, be very positive, be very offensive. And I think in that sense, I think that would be great. No. Basically, my frustration is that as much as I know that you're right, it's like I look at because I know he's so money. I'm like, I want him to be in a big club. Why can't he go to Real Madrid and say what's up, man? Because imagine, like the last time, it's been ages since like a Nigerian player was really playing for a big club. You have to go back to Kano at Arsenal or Kano at Inter Milan, Finidi George at Ajax, Amunike at Barcelona. So that's the thing there. So wait, let me just hit the super chat here, man. So super chat here from Martin Rosario. Thank you. It says HH. I promise I'll become a member as soon as I win big money on the Bayern circumcision. You have my word. Martin, we're gonna get, and you know what? That's a great segue right now. So let's not get into this whole brass tacks, guys. I mean no offense. I know that some of you guys are Premier League merchants, Serie A merchants, La Liga merchants, and all this kind of stuff. I know that's what all you guys love. Champions League is my home. Champions League is where it's at. The CL is what matters. And guys, we literally right now have one week until we pop off. Atletico against Liverpool, Dortmund against PSG, and I am overexcited and excited. So before we even go to that whole Bayern Chelsea thing, let's just even look at these two games right now, because we're going to be building. We're going to be building up. So Atletico Liverpool, that's the first game, Feb 18. I felt that if Atletico bought Cavani, we have a very interesting side. I would still put Liverpool as our favorites, but if they had Cavani, interesting side. Morata is trash, brick, class B, borderline class A. Costa is finished. Costa is done for. Like he's no longer as relevant as he should be. So, in your view, do you think Atletico have a chance, or do you think they should just forfeit the game?
Oh no, they definitely have a chance. I think Atletico
are a very interesting style matchup when it goes to facing Liverpool. I think when you open up against Liverpool, like let's say Bayern Munich did last season, and other teams have done in the past, Barcelona for instance, even both the first and the second leg, I think you leave yourself very open to the counter attack. But we know Atletico won't do that. They will sit deep. They will soak up the pressure. And they will look to hit Liverpool on a counter attack, which has caused them issues a lot more earlier in the Premier League season. So it's an interesting clash of styles. I think they can cause them issues, and it also favours them actually playing at home first, where they can maybe nick a result, whether it's like maybe nicking on 1-0 perhaps. I think that would be an amazing result for Atletico. And then go into Anfield, and as scary as Anfield can be for anybody, if there's a team that you can maybe trust to at least hold their nerve defensively, it would be Atletico there. But having said that, and it's actually a shame for me watching Atletico now, because as a fan of football, whenever I've watched Atletico, they've always had absolute gunmen up front, like clinical strikers. If it's not Falcao, it was Fernando Torres at his peak. It was Diego Costa, even Diego Forlan, even back to Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank. They've had so many great strikers at that club, and to see them now with Morata, who we obviously know very well. And Diego Costa, who again I'm a big fan of, but just isn't right now that guy in 2020. And João Felix, good potential, very good talent, but why are you putting your face like that? Why?
You don't know why I'm putting my face like that? Because I was told that this guy was the next big thing. Everything that Sancho did this season for Dortmund, they gave this guy best young player in the world. Yeah. Okay, people can say, okay, it's the wrong team, it's the wrong system, it's that. He's been a no-show for Atletico Madrid. Whatever the reason may be, I'm not saying that he's not, of course he's a talented player. He's been a no-show this entire season. So I don't even want to hear the name João Felix even mentioned because this guy has done nothing. So I don't even know why people say that this guy is relevant.
For the Portuguese equivalent of HH, I'm sure they must have thought, oh wow, João Felix going to a top European club like Atletico. That's so sexy, right? It's a sexy appeal, just like Chukwueze going to Real Madrid. But HH, you can't have your cake and eat it. Sometimes moving to a big club too early isn't a good move, which for me, I don't want to see Chukwueze go to Liverpool or Real Madrid. Likewise for João Felix, maybe he's ready to play for a big club, but I just don't know if Atletico was the right fit for him stylistically. But again, moving back obviously onto the tie itself, I think it highly favours Liverpool, especially without Atletico having a clinical striker. But I don't expect Liverpool to blow Atletico away. Although for the Premier League, to save any integrity that they have left, which is very small at this point, Liverpool needs to slap Atletico, given how they've been slapping everybody in the Premier League. But I think it'll be a tight tie. I think it'll be close over both legs. I think Atletico will probably get a draw in the first game, but I think Liverpool ended up seeing it away. Again, at Anfield, second leg at Anfield is just it's you could put anybody there. Second leg at Anfield, you're gonna struggle.
But apart from maybe PSG.
No. Even PSG will get it. As much as I'm a fan of PSG, second leg at Anfield, no, that's a myth for anybody.
I'm not joking, pops. But okay, now speaking of PSG, Dortmund PSG right now. So look. Erling Haaland is an interesting joke in the past.
Just start this off by saying last time I was here and we were talking about Haaland, I said, oh, good talent. You were
you were just like, no, he needs to prove it this, he needs to prove that. I'm like, bro, he's that young, and you were like, oh no, he definitely won't be a world class striker. And I was like, bro, Lewandowski at his age, Suarez at his age, Kane at his age. Actually, Kane was actually doing bits at his age, to be fair. Your good friend Kane, of course. You can't actually tell if a striker's going to be whatever level they're going to be at so young and after seeing only so much little footage. You never know what they can develop to be. And I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater after his amazing start at Dortmund, scoring, I think, a goal every 19 minutes or something crazy like that. But you got to give it time and just wait and see what happens with him. But again, go on, because he's been proving you wrong ever since, obviously, you made those comments. So, go on.
Until you score against teams that aren't called Frankfurter FC and Bielefeld United, and until you score in the Champions League knockout stage as Mbappe did in 2017, not in the Champions League group stage where no one counts, then call me. So he hasn't proven himself. He hasn't proven.
Liverpool, which he
Champions League group stage. Was that in the group stage or the knockouts? In the group stage. In the group. Oh yeah. So I think that was in the group stage.
This is his first time being in a knockout stage. So
No. That's why this is so beautiful, because I do have a nightmare scenario of Erling Haaland knocking out PSG. Because we also what happened in Paris. I have a nightmare scenario of like Jadon Sancho puts a through ball into Erling Haaland, Thiago Silva slips, and Erling Haaland basically much does a sharp shot into the 92nd minute and knocks out PSG. PSG should win, but I don't trust. PSG is the one team who I fully don't have any trust in, and they're the ones that I will not put one kobo on doing anything. So I'll be real with you. I have no idea what's going to happen, because Dortmund are such a wild card. They're so crazy. They're so manic that they could easily just be crazy, score 4 goals, or concede 4 or 5. So how do you think this happens, knowing that Brick Hummels is in defense?
Okay, first and foremost, we just got to say, who doesn't love Champions League, man? Like, just the clash of styles. I think the draw this year has been exceptional.
Amazing draw.
I don't like the scheduling of matches, because for me, unlike you, I don't like watching 2 games at one time. I just got to watch and focus on one. But again, each to their own, I guess. I'm not as multifaceted as you in that sense, I guess. At the same time, either way, actually, I'm not going to say what I was going to just say. But for me, look, this is an exceptional tie on paper, and I think it will be probably the tie of the round in terms of just action, goals, the quality of goals as well. I think Dortmund, with how they play in the Bundesliga, a lot of teams playing high up, pressing high. I think PSG, with how they play in the Ligue 1, pretty much pub stomping everybody that they play there, including Lyon, which was, again, Lyon almost made a comeback, to be fair, but how that game transpired and obviously that goal. I mean, Draxler literally played a 1-2 with their players before that guy put it top corner. It was mad. It's a very interesting tie on paper, and again, even just the matchups and the storylines of like Haaland versus Mbappe. Again, your storyline of Mbappe being, again, and I also agree, one of the best players in the world at such a young age, with a possibility of taking over the mantle of Messi and Cristiano. Haaland can almost say, you know what, no, I'm the best young striker in world football right now. And if he was to go and bag against PSG over both legs, that narrative changes all of a sudden.
Don't put Haaland and Mbappe in the same category.
But people can make that conversation. And in fact, no, they would actually argue wholeheartedly with their chest, as you know they would do.
You're talking about a World Cup winner, bro. You're talking about a World Cup winner. Don't put Haaland in the same category. No, please. Who's this guy, man? Square the World Cup final.
But this is why we love the Champions League, because of all the narratives. And even for Mbappe as well, it's interesting to see what he does in the Champions League this season, because you can argue, similar to Pep, he's only really known success. He's pretty much won every competition he's entered into. And obviously internationally and also domestically as well. You can almost argue the only time he's really faced any adversity was last season with Man United, when obviously they got shockingly knocked out. Rashford ended up bagging in that game, and it was kind of the conversation of Rashford and Mbappe, which, okay, is egregious in itself. But it'll be interesting to see what he does this season. Obviously, you've got informed players like Di Maria, who's been one of the best players in Europe this season. Obviously, let's see what Neymar does with his new hairstyle, which I think is him going bald. Which, is that him being serious, or is that like midlife crisis? Or
wait, actually, let's just quickly. I want to just quickly hit the super chats here. So super chat from Julian N, who is a Dortmund supporter. What defender and manager can improve Dortmund? So obviously Julian is obviously reeling from obviously the other disappointments against Frankfurt. So let me just answer this up, then I'll throw it to you. I really feel that Koulibaly would be a great signing for Dortmund. I think he knows how to defend. He's very good on the ball, and I think he can do well in a very attacking team because of his mobility and his reading of the game. And as far as a manager goes, they shouldn't have let Tuchel go. I think because Tuchel knows the club, he's a protege of Klopp and everything. And the reason why he left was because of his arguments with, I think it was Vasca and the higher ups. So I think if they bring back Tuchel, they get a Koulibaly, I think that would be great. Because I think for Dortmund, based on the players that they have, you need someone that really understands the way that they play. You know, with the facts of they are an attacking team, but you have to attack in a responsible way and a mature way. Favre doesn't attack in a responsible way and a mature way. You can be an attacking team, but you have to have a very responsible, mature balance between your defense and attack. The pendulum swings too much in one area for them to roll through. But what do you think? I
mean, you took the words right out of my mouth. Koulibaly, 100%. I think that's a leader. I think he offers the physical presence that they really lack at times as well. And for Hummels, again, I've said this was finished. He's been pretty good ever since I've actually made those comments. But I always will still question him in the big games where you're playing up against the best front lines in Europe. And how will he deal with that mobility of players like an Mbappe, like a Neymar? So it's going to be interesting to see that. But someone like Koulibaly, you can trust more in those situations on a counter-attack. And also for a manager, I would have probably said like a Nagelsmann potentially. Again,
that's what I was thinking.
Tuchel was obviously a very good option. And again, obviously he had their disputes, but I think he did very good work at Dortmund. So it's interesting to see. And it's a very important point that he's brought up, obviously leading back to the game itself. And really it just poses... For me, the way this game really turns is more on how Dortmund cope defensively with PSG, because we know PSG's firepower and how they blow goals past anybody really in Europe. Certainly, we've seen it obviously in Liga, but even in the Champions League, they've been pretty impressive as well. So it'll be interesting to see how Dortmund deal with them. But again, I could talk about this game forever and ever. Bro. So many great games honestly coming up. But for me, I do favour PSG. Obviously, I do pick them to win the Champions League, but I'm under no illusion that this is a very tough tie for them and a very good test as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. And look, pray to God that Neymar stays fit, please. Like just what? Maybe him going bold is like some sort of ritual just to make sure he doesn't get injured this one season.
If I'll beat the crap out of him.
We still got that bet, by the way, on it.
Hey, look, man. Look, well, they ain't doing nothing, bro. Look now. Okay, my thing is, so guys, remember, send in your questions now. Send in your questions. So we've got maybe about 10 or 15 minutes left because this battery is running low. 10, 15 minutes left. Send in your questions now. Send in your questions. So before I go into this, this is what I love, guys. So super chats here from Natsa.
What's he saying?
So he says, missed forward. Got bored of seeing HH. Do you know what's a word? I bet you, I think I must be the only YouTuber or person where people who are fans of me insult me. People who are here every day insult my hairline and call me baldy and everything and call me LL. And these are guys who are like that doesn't matter. Wait, I thought you were supposed to like me. It's like, and for some reason, because I love Hazard so much, because he won a European Cup by himself, led Chelsea to the European trophy, people now say it's Hazard because of me. People have the reason to hate Marco Verratti, who is the best central midfielder in the world, because of me. Guys, why don't you like me? Why don't you just come and just be on my side, man? Jeez.
I wonder why as well. I mean, there's no obvious reason why we would hate HH, right, guys?
Yeah.
But obviously, thank you, appreciate that, Nazar.
There's no. I was thinking a bit of sarcasm there.
Sarcasm? Me? No, I don't deal in sarcasm. Never. Me? No.
Okay.
No. But yeah, no. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks. Yeah, just we just love hating on you. That's
I think honestly, you know what I noticed? If you don't have haters, you're having a problem. So it's good that you have haters, but
true. No, there are people that hate my guts.
but at the same time, your fans are also haters. Your haters are also haters. You just have mad haters.
Okay,
so it's and then
all right, so look, man. So remember, guys, send in your questions, and then I will and we'll try and get them through. But yeah, I'll try and go through the questions. So as I look through here, Chelsea ban. I cannot let you go without discussing Chelsea ban. I'm hype. And I'll tell you why I'm hype. I'm basically what I've been doing. I don't know what you've been seeing on my channel. Every day I've been doing like a profile on one of each of the teams of the last 16, all building up until Tuesday and everything. So, and tomorrow the Chelsea one drops. If you remember, you can watch that right now on the community page. So tomorrow is where the Chelsea one drops. And as I was watching myself talk about it and get hyped, you know the whole green screen. Look forward, man. I'm not saying, what I'm saying is, look forward. I saw them against Leipzig. And Chelsea have to be perfect. They have to be perfect. They have to be perfect, but forward. Don't tell me it's impossible. Don't tell me it's impossible. When I saw Bayern against Leipzig, I said, that team can be beaten. That team can be beaten. But it has to be a perfect plan. If Mourinho, I swear to you, if Mourinho was the manager, if Nkunku was the manager, I promise you, Bayern are getting delivered. They're getting delivered. Yeah, guys. If Nkunku was that guy, they're getting delivered. So my thing here is that it's going to be. I respect Lewandowski. I respect what these guys do, and I respect their experience. But I see a weakness there. And as I saw that Leipzig game, if Leipzig scored their chances, they would have beaten Bayern. The only difference between Chelsea and Leipzig is Nagelsmann. I think, even if he's younger, he's like my age, Nagelsmann is a much better manager than Lampard. And Leipzig have much better defenders. And Leipzig have the best defender outside between Leipzig and Chelsea in Upamecano. Who's a great to defend. I think he's probably better than Zuma. Bro, that guy is that dude is very good. Upamecano, that guy is a very good. Because I've been seeing him for a few years. That is a quality defender. So, in your view, do you share my hope, not my belief? Of course, Bayern will win. Bayern are the best. Bayern are superb. Bayern will win. They'll destroy Chelsea. They are amazing. Blah 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 blah. Chelsea, blah blah blah. Chelsea, blah blah. But where do you stand here with this? Where do you stand as a Chelsea fan wearing a Chelsea hat?
It's interesting because the last video that we did on your channel was just after Chelsea obviously qualified for the Champions League knockout stages, and just before the draw for the round of 16. So it's very interesting. I remember wanting Juventus. I remember you wanting Bayern Munich severely, and I was like, oh, wow, you want Bayern Munich? That's an interesting one. And look, is it impossible? Look, nothing is impossible. Matthew 19:26. Nothing is impossible with God. And I believe God's on our side. I mean, he has to be, right? Come on, I feel like there's something special moving Chelsea this season into the Champions League. I feel like there's something there. However, I'm not going to fall into the hype. Watching those matches live with you, that was a lot of fun. We fell into the hype a little bit, semis minimum and all that. It was lovely. It was fun. But look, bro, we have to be humble in the situation. Understand that we are underdogs, rightly so. And I'm not even fearful of that because I wanted to face Juventus or I wanted to face one of the best teams possible so that we could have a really tough time. I understand that we're going to be underdogs pretty much against anybody, even if it was Leipzig that we drew. I understand that we were going to be underdogs. However, with Bayern Munich, there is a very real possibility that, not that we're going to lose, no, we can lose to anybody, it's possible. There's a very real possibility that we could get absolutely, in fact, what's the terminology for getting beat by 9 goals? What's that terminology?
I think that's a resurrection.
Resurrection. We could very really get resurrected by Bayern Munich. It's possible. I'm not even joking. Look, bro, imagine over 180 minutes, Lewandowski, Coutinho, Kimmich, Perisic, all these shooters shooting at Kepa for 180 minutes, bro. Look, man, I can't let you fall on this sort of we're gonna make the semis minimum now, bro. Just think, because, bro, there's nothing wrong with being wrong, but it could go spectacularly wrong. Spectacularly HH.
Do you know what worries me?
Yeah.
The thing that worries me is like, see, now United just removed all my. When you mentioned that, what Brika Balaga. But do you know what my thing is? Like, I'm actually gonna work. Chelsea can't play that game with either of those two keepers. Get someone from the road. Go to the youth team. If I turn on the thing, Chelsea ban, and either Kepa or Caballero is in goal, I'm not watching the game. Guys, screw you. I don't care. You can go and watch the post-match analysis by Nini FC or whatsoever. If I turn on the television and either... You got the Nini FC, bro. If I turn on the television and I see either Caballero or Kepa in goal, I'm not watching the match. I'm not. Screw it.
It's going to
take a monumental effort from our defenders, namely Zuma, who's been dropped recently, and I mean that's something maybe we'll get into another day. But it's going to take a monumental effort from our players as a whole, that entire team, that unit. Whoever does play in goal, they're going to need to have the game of their life, which I don't know if they're capable of, but we're going to have to see what happens. But again, in the big games, it does give us confidence that we can produce, because we've definitely had our really good performances. We've given Liverpool the tougher games this season so far. We've performed good against the likes of Tottenham, against Arsenal. We've had our good performances in big games, Man City as well. So there's no reason why we can't perform well over 180 minutes, but we can't perform well over 180 minutes and win. We're going to have to be extraordinary. And Bayern Munich will give us our chances. Leipzig had those chances. We saw Werner miss some really, really big chances, which again is a question of him. He's a good goal scorer in the Bundesliga, but does he score in the big games when it really matters? It remains to be seen. But we have a chance. I'll probably say it's about 70-30 in Bayern's favour, but we can win. In fact, no, I'll say 60-40 in Bayern's favour. It's just a case of, if we lose, it could be, like, bro, you might have to, just chill on the channel for a couple months. Just come back when it's the final or something, because it could get ugly, bro. Ugly. You think double L is the worst of what you're going to get, bro? It could get nasty, man.
Okay, so look, man, let's just take some questions here before we get out of here, man. So this guy says, where was Lewandowski against Liverpool last year?
Shout out Haslam. Obviously, we had a lot of fun trolling. I can't say trolling. It was rightful criticism of Lewandowski
last season, but there's no doubt that right now he is the best striker in world football. But it's important for him that he does it in these big games, because he went to Bayern Munich to win the Champions League. When he left Dortmund, he left losing the Champions League final to Bayern Munich. Since, he's not played in another Champions League final, so it's important for him that he does turn up in a big game, and I don't want to see him do it, but it would be right for him to go and turn up in over these 2 legs against Chelsea. And against Kepa, he has no reason not to turn up. So,
relax. February 25th equals the day HH cries. Make a note. Do you think I will cry on Feb 25th?
I don't think you'll cry. I think you'll just shut it up before they see you cry.
So Feb 25th, you'll be here.
Yeah.
You'll be here Feb 25th.
How can I miss the comment?
Look, I may need some consolements around, man.
Just in case.
Bro, man, horrible news, man. So what's your take on the Oos? Out for the season, gonna miss that's disgusting. He's out till August. That's disgusting. That for me, no, that's just messed up, man. A guy that talented, that's messed up.
I can't lie, there was a slight sigh of relief that it wasn't Moussa Dembele from Lyon. Just because I know he's linked to Chelsea. But of course, it's hard to see for any young player to be suffering with so many severe injuries. Not just like niggly injuries, but injuries that keeping him out for months at a time. I remember even last season when he was hitting his best form, I think it was actually around this time last year where he was hitting his best form, and then he got injured, and then Valverde was dropping him unnecessarily after that, which is quite irritating to see. But yeah, it's a shame, man, because he's got a lot of talent, and as much as maybe you, in a sense, overrate what he could be, he could be anything in a sense, not based on what you've seen, but based on the talent, the fact that he's so two-footed, unpredictable, great dribbling, great shooting technique. So yeah, it's tough to see, man. And also for Barcelona, that's another player injured, and look, Barcelona are their own little mess as well, man. It's crazy right now.
Actually, this is actually quite funny. So this is from Football Hot member Erhan Aksu, who says, Ford says he'll be there February 25th. TFL says otherwise.
I will be there extra early for that one.
Yeah, you have to go there hours early, man. TFL is trash.
We'll probably do a preview for that one
as well. Once you obviously see the lineup and everything, so that's gonna be big, man. Boys, Champions League. Woo! It's getting real.
What's it good? So should Chelsea sack Frank in the summer?
What the hell are you
In-
talking
in-
about?
in-
Who
in-
said that? Who said that?
He's actually a Chelsea fan, man.
Ban him. Ban him.
Okay. So you said keep. Let me ask you this. Then. Let's say if Chelsea fail to get top four, they don't win any trophies, and let's just say, and I pray this time, let's say Bayern deliver Chelsea like it's really like really bad, like it's like a total shakedown.
Nine.
Do you still keep Lampard for the beyond the summer?
Oh, of course.
Of course, that's not even a question. Again, look, going into the season, everyone's got to bear in mind the context of the season. There wasn't so much great expectation of Chelsea because we lost our best player. We lost one of the best players in European football, Eden Hazard, after winning us the Europa League. We lost him in the summer, weren't able to actually replace him. We lost, obviously, Sarri as well. We didn't have that as much time to obviously bring in a manager. We got Lampard in time, but again, we couldn't bring any signings in. Obviously, we had Ruben Loftus-Cheek injured for most of the season. Kante missed large parts of the season as well for injury. So there were so many things riding against Chelsea. Also, bear in mind that our rivals all strengthened really well. Let's not forget Tottenham were actually, people were arguing maybe Tottenham could actually push Man City and Liverpool for first and second. Actually, people were arguing that. Man United obviously brought in who did they bring in? They brought in, things their signings have been so bad that I forgot Maguire. One of these is we're gonna have to get onto Maguire. 85 million, and no one's talking about him, but yet people want to talk about Pogba. They want to talk about. We'll get onto that one day. And obviously the choir boy, what's his name? The winger, he's Welsh. What's his name?
James.
Who? Anyways, so they had a pretty good summer apparently. Also, Arsenal brought in Pepe, again, who I was a big fan of, and I thought so. Basically, everybody around us brought in good players and were touted to do big things. So for us, even being in a conversation for top four would have been a pretty good achievement. Now, looking at it now, it would be disappointing, yes, if we didn't make top four, but it shouldn't be that, now we just forget the context of it and look at it and say that, we should be, it's a birthright that we should be automatically mandated with top four. No, we have to still go and earn it from this position. We didn't even buy anyone in January. So it's not going to be easy. I would expect us to finish top four given the circumstances now. But it wouldn't be a slight on Lampard if we didn't make it at all. Because look, now Man United brought in Fernandes, so they recruited even more. So it's going to be tough. But again, I still back Lampard. I still back the process that we're going through now, and I still think we will get top four.
Let's actually look at Madrid against maybe this one's a round of Madrid against Man City. This is a crazy one. Like when the draw was first made, I think it was like, no, Man City are just favourites. Only just was real close. But as people have said, the closer we get to this, it's not swung on to Real Madrid right now. Because Real Madrid have now gone on a crazy winning run right now. Top of the table, the team looks set. We're going to have a discussion about, does Zidane deserve much more credit? And for Man City, they've now fallen way, way beyond Liverpool right now, taking L's everywhere. A lot of L's at their crib. So in your view, who are the favourites? Or who do you give the edge to? Because I still say City win it. Do you know why? Because they have to. Because if Pep gets knocked out in the round of last 16, bro. Because that's what me and Juju has. Because me and Juju have a little bit here. Because me and Juju said, if Pep gets knocked out in the round of last 16, Mr. I destroyed football. That will look real bad in erasement. That's why I go back to the beginning of a discussion of how does Pep now react to that, of where you're out of the Champions League last 16, and then FA Cup or a Carabao Cup can't paper over that crack. So,
I think just it has to be said right now, for someone who said I've destroyed football, if he was to leave after this season, after raising out a little bit of adversity, you can't be in a conversation of best manager of all time. You can't be, for me. He would have to then go and win the Champions League with I don't know whoever, but he's not won it since 2011. Stamford. You know, when I watched that video of him on Twitter saying that, if you put me one of these other teams, I wouldn't win any trophies. Any teams like I was waiting for him to say Scunthorpe, but maybe he didn't want to show that he actually watches your videos.
If he actually said Scunthorpe, I'd actually have it. I'm like, what? He actually watches me?
The thing is, he is watching, but he didn't want to say it. You know.
No, he is.
He's watching. But the tie. This was the one. This was the tie that really caught my eye and made me think, you know what, that's going to be a great tie. I think maybe Dortmund and PSG would be a probably better game to watch, but I think this is the most interesting tie. And man, going into it, I was probably 55-45 Man City, but now I'm dead even 50-50, man. I'm dead even. It's going to be a very interesting time. Real Madrid's form has been very good. And of course, they've got a certain little Belgian to come back into the fray. Whether he starts those games or comes as like maybe an impact sub off the bench, maybe the first game to start with. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens. And yeah, I mean, no pun intended, but this is literally all or nothing, like last season's documentary for Man City. It's all or nothing. They have to win this. So, and obviously for Real Madrid, because they're in the Champions League and because the Champions League is literally their competition, they also kind of have to win it as well.
So, who are you going for? If you're going to put money on someone, who would you go for?
I mean, I always would bet on the underdog. I'm pretty sure if there was pretty sure the betting lines would probably favour Real Madrid as the underdog, and maybe a little bit out of bias as well. I'm gonna pick Real Madrid. I think Zidane's gonna get his tactics right. I also don't look. When you look at what's gone wrong with Man City this season, it wasn't the Laporte injury. It was them being linked with Maguire in the summer and then not buying a centre back once Man United got Maguire. You realise there was a problem with the centre-back area. You let Company go, who was your best centre-back last season in the big games alongside Laporte. But then even in the Tottenham game that we watched, remember Laporte had a horrible game against Tottenham where Song absolutely destroyed him in that second leg. So for me, you needed to buy another centre-back to go in there. And I don't want to hear this conversation about people saying that there weren't no top centre-backs available. You could have got Koulibaly. If you were willing to spare with an arm and a leg, you could have got Koulibaly. You could have got a Manolas. You could have maybe got a De Ligt. There were players there available. On City perhaps even as well. There were players there to go and get, and they didn't go and get them. So now you're left with not the best back line that's going up against Benzema, who's been in amazing form. You've got just a very great attacking system in Real Madrid with a lot of really good technicians in midfield that can cause Man City a lot of issues. And for me, I just look at it and say, is Stones and Otamendi... Fernandinho's been good this season, but not a natural centre-back. And alongside Stones or Otamendi, do I trust that against Real Madrid? I just don't. Will Laporte be fit again? I don't know.
Stones is trash.
A horrendous centre-back.
Remember, guys, get those likes up. Get those likes up. Get those likes up, guys. Get those flipping likes up. Oh yeah, thank you for my mods, man. Anybody who spams the mods will get you. So mods, thank you for doing that. That's good work, Mark. So mods, do good work there, man. Actually, I was going to say something, but I've actually completely forgot what I want to say. Oh, super chat here. So from Daniel Jones Ortega, who is a Football Hot member. Thank you for being a Football Hot member, Daniel Jones Ortega. I think, yeah, let's end with this. So this is a great one to end on. Who do you think will win the Champions League? Be honest. Now, looking at all the teams, and I still say this right now, and I think the thing about this is that it always changes whenever you see the matches that's happening right now. But again, you're asking me the question right now, and I can't really look into the future. There isn't a team that I think that's as strong as Liverpool, because not only are Liverpool strong, not only do they have goal scorers everywhere, not only do they now have won it, the final 1 year, won it the next year, so they're experienced in going all the way. Nobody has that Anfield thing. There is no other team left there that has a stadium that is as much of a fortress as Anfield is. So as long as, because again, I don't know what will happen in the quarters or in the semis, but as long as Liverpool have Anfield in the second leg, they are huge favourites. And for me, put it this way, Real Madrid aren't winning it because it's too early for them. It's not their year. Juventus, Sarri and Juve just doesn't work. And I think it's just too much to ask Cristiano to carry them. Barcelona, it is too much to ask Messi to carry them because of the side chick. PSG, they're a bunch of losers. Ever since Miracle at Camp Nou, they will have a losers tag. Bayern Munich, I just don't think they are strong enough. Good team, I just don't think they are strong enough. Chelsea, well, easy. So the only team that just looks resolute from front till back, and they just know how to win, and they've got a great manager who knows how to operate within these two legs, I think is Klopp, And I just think the key thing about a Champions League, and I think this was the last time a defensive-minded team won the Champions League was 2010. Juve tried to do it in 2017, and I remember I was so hyped for Juve in 2017. But we also saw what happened to them in the final. You have to go for it. You have to really go for it. No, of course, you not have to have a defensive plan. You have to plan to attack and defense. But just as Real Madrid won its 3 times in a row, Real Madrid were like, boom, we attack, we counter, we attack, front foot, soak pressure, transition. You have to have an offensive plan, either whether you're defending or you have to have some sort of this is how we're trying to get goals. Because, and again, one of the greatest inventions of all time was that away goal. Because the beauty of the away goal is you always have a chance to knock out the team. Not to go to extra time, but to knock out that team. Just keep scoring. the game keeps changing. So, but for me, I can't look past Liverpool. Like you cannot give me a stronger argument beyond Liverpool. What about you?
I mean,
I certainly agree with everything you said about Liverpool. I disagree with a lot of other things you said in that, including, again, bro, the last defensive team to win the Champions League was who?
Inter.
No, 2012.
They went defensive now.
Chelsea won defensive. We had like 5% possession in the final, bro.
No, that's what's because
That was part of the bus football. It doesn't get more defensive than that.
It's not the bus, but when I look at defense, I just look at where it was artistic. Chelsea, that was spiritual. That win was a spiritual win led by your boy Didier Drogba, who, bro, doesn't get enough credit for what he did.
He does by the real one. People, stat merchants on Twitter nowadays who didn't watch him live and only look at, he didn't score 20 goals in these. Bro, all of the fans of the team that they support back in the day, they all feared one man at that time. Maybe Henry as well. They all feared Drogba. They all feared him at that point. Henry, great striker, but didn't score as many in big games as Drogba.
What did you do in the Champions League final? All six.
He actually missed a big 1-1, by the way. But yes, the last defensive team to win the Champions League was Chelsea in 2012. That was defensive football. Again, our priority football, even against Napoli in the quarterfinals, in fact, last 16, defensive. Benfica, defensive. Barcelona, park the bus. Bayern Munich, park the flipping plane. And then win on penalties. But Liverpool undoubtedly a favourite to the Champions League. There's no doubt about it. But I'm still going to stick with PSG, man. I've said it from the start. I'm going to keep saying it again. This is PSG's year, providing Neymar stays fit. Now, he's done the ritual. He's gone bold. He's seen a Nigerian therapist. So I think he's ready he's clearly shown that he's ready to take the sacrifices to prove that he's going to be fit. And as long as he stays fit, with Mbappe, with Di Maria, who people are very overlooking this season. He's been amazing this season. It's just again at midfield. I think they're going to be a very tough team to beat. Now, again, with Liverpool.
Wait. Are you really making a case for PSG to win it? Haven't you learned anything? Haven't you learned anything? Look, thank you. Someone just called you backward, man. So, look, haven't you learned anything?
Why am I getting haters? This is meant to be hatred getting haters.
Yeah, no. Like, how do you... Wait, why? Why are you putting faith in PSG? These guys, didn't you learn anything from the miracle at Camp Nou? And they said, no, you know what? You didn't learn anything from the Camp Nou. Let's double down and let's allow flipping Lukaku and Rashford to knock us out as well. Bro, come on, bro.
No. This is your problem, right? You believe in curses. There's no such thing as curses in football. Actually, tell a lie. There is the Benfica curse. There is the Bella Gutmann curse that Benfica will not win a Champions League or a European trophy in 100 years. And we saw that, I think that was since 1963. Obviously, we're getting kind of close to that, about 30, 40 years from there. And they've not won a European trophy since then. So the Bella Gutmann curse, search it up, that is an actual real curse. But other than that, there are no such thing as curses in football. PSG can right that wrong. They've got the players now to right that wrong. If anything, they actually signed the player who made the miracle of the Camp Nou happen. So it makes sense that if he's to actually play a knockout stage game, it gives them the best chance of actually getting through. And I feel like they're going to win it. And again, if you're so confident, put your money where your mouth is and take the forfeit, take the bet. I said from day one that they're going to get to the final of the Champions League. Take the forfeit. And you know what? We can even agree on the forfeit now.
Wait. Does this bet count if Neymar gets injured?
No. No. But then he's not going to get injured anyway. You've seen that he's taken...
Wait. What do you mean that he's not going to get injured? How are you sure he was not going to get injured?
Why else would Neymar go from blue hair to pink hair to bold? Look, let me give you the backstory of the deal, right? I won't give you all the full details because, look, I ain't trying to get that smoke, right? Look, I don't want to obviously bait out Nigerian therapists and what they do. No. Basically, he saw certain doctor, certain witchcraft.
And they said that you need to make a certain sacrifice. The sacrifice was his hair. Yes. The sacrifice was his hair. That's why he went for, okay, you know what, since I'm not going to have my hair for so long, let me just experiment a little bit. Let me have some blue hair. Let me have some pink hair. Okay, now I'm ready to do the sacrifice, which was to cut it off. He's cut it off. He's gone bold. That was the sacrifice he needs to make because whenever it hits February, this time of year, he always gets injured. Now he's fit. He's got injuries out of the way earlier in the season. He's fit now, and he will be ready, and he's going to take PSG to the final. Now, I'm not saying they're going to win it, but I'm saying they're going to at least get to the final as the bet. I'm still picking them to technically win it, but for the bet, I'm saying they're going to get to the final. Now, we've already shooken it before. I'm going to say, okay, that's a lie, but we're going to shake it now. What I'm going to say is, as a forfeit, okay, we're not going to eat any spicy food, any of that. No. I reckon it should be like a sports-related forfeit. I reckon...
You seem really, really sure about this, man.
I'm confident. I'm sure. And also, I just think it'll be interesting to see you do the forfeit, to be honest. So I reckon it should be something like you have to do a certain amount of press ups or burpees or something like that. I think it'll be interesting.
Look, man, let's just run this off. But look, man, Ford has been good having here. So hopefully, actually, wait, I'm trying to think because no, next time we'll see you here is Feb 25 because Feb 18 is the Champions League. So unless will you be? Can you come here next Tuesday? Or what? So, or are you? I mean, basically, we'll see. Yeah, we'll just go. Yeah, we'll get the reduces and everything. But basically, we'll definitely see you here for Feb 25 live stream on Twitch and the post stream as well because it's gonna be big, guys. It's been swell. Remember to hit that like button. Remember to join up, become a member, and so forth.
HH, dye your chest pink if PSG win it. No.
Joseph Baker, no, my chest hair stays black, and that's the nothing. Nah.
Okay, me and HH will discuss a forfeit afterwards, but we're gonna have that bet done. If PSG don't make the final, I'll do a forfeit. If Liverpool PSG do make the final, HH
Look,
does that forfeit.
let me just say right now, save this vid.
Save this vid.
PSG are not touching that Champions League. You know what? I'm thinking I may
Be a man.
£20.
Money. You actually put money where your mouth is.
So if Neymar gets injured, does it still up?
He's not-
Hey,
He's not gonna
no. Okay, that's it. Whatever, Neymar injured or not, £20.
He's not getting injured, so I mean, I can shake your hand on it. He's not gonna get injured anyway, so that's cool.
Okay, so you say £20 that PSG will win.
They'll get to the final. That was the original bet that we made. You said there's no way. You said semi-final. They won't even touch semi-finals. I remember the conversation exactly.
£30. £30.
You know what? If you win, £30, cool. If I win, you give me £20. But you have to do 50 press ups.
Okay. it's gonna be a hard bar, but all right. Okay. There we have it, man. So that's so. Let's just be clarified here. So if PSG win the Champions League,
It's to get to the final.
no. We shook on.
Get to the final.
No. We shook, guys. We shook on win the.
Guys, everybody knows that we
No. We shook on win the Champions League.
No. You said win the Champions League, and that was £20. When I said no, we talked about it earlier in the season in September. Get to the final. You were like, okay, now let's raise it to £30. Don't try me, bro.
Okay.
I took some tips.
Okay. So what's the bet? No, because I said that because that's why I was up in the bets. I said £30. They won £30 Champions League win.
You guys are getting an insight how to Nigerians discuss
Okay, so £30 Champions League win.
But look, I know when the fans know better than me, they will remember what you said earlier in the season.
Which is there's no chance they even sniff a semi-final. I said they're gonna get to the final. Let's bet on that. That's what we're gonna do the forfeit on.
What are we betting on?
If PSG get to the final, that's
Why are you
it.
so afraid of saying with the PSG win the Champions League?
I just said final.
Final.
Anything can happen in the final, but I said at the time we get to a final.
No, final is a pussy thing to do. £40.
You're being a pussy. You haven't even picked a team to win the Champions League. You just said Liverpool are favourites.
No, I said Liverpool.
That's a cop-out. Anyone can say Liverpool's gonna win it. That's a cop-out.
Hey, copper. Hey. No, the bracket is running low. Can we just decide on something? £30. If PSG don't win, give me £30. If PSG win, give me £30. It's easy.
I said get to the final. I'm not budging on this. And I've already said
rich man. So £30 is nothing for you. £30 is a lot for me. £30 is not for you.
I'm not budging on this. I said final. Take it or leave it. But also, you're about to bail out on a bet on your channel in front of your fans, bro.
No.
Look, bro.
Final is what do you got? They get to final. Okay, yeah, that could happen.
I'm trying to do you a favor. This is the work. I'm trying to turn you babyface. I want you to get fans. Everyone's gonna hate you even more now, bro. Come on. I'm trying to be on your side. Take the bet.
We're gonna
Take the bait.
We'll meet again until you rekindle this thing. The only bet I'm taking is if PSG win, and I'm willing to up the bet. I'm willing to up the bet. So, £40.
We'll discuss in the future.
Okay, we'll discuss it. Okay, guys. Peace out. Stay tuned. Like the vid. We're out. Peace.